Solve. Write your answer using a compound inequality. Our first step is to identify the least common denominator. Least common denominator, there's only one denominator, so it's going to be z. Then I'm going to multiply each term by this least common denominator. Okay, we do have the option of it being positive or negative. Okay, so if z is a positive, so if z is greater than 0, then we would have z plus 6 over z, and the symbol would go the same direction. Okay, and we're going to multiply both sides by z. Okay, so the z's are going to cancel, so I have z plus 6 is less than 0, so z is less than negative 6. Okay, so on the positive side, we're saying that z is greater than 0 and z is less than negative 6. Okay, this is not possible. Okay, z cannot be less than negative 6 and also greater than 0. Okay, also if we plug in a value that is less than negative 6 into our original equation, we find that this becomes positive, which does not make sense because this on the left-hand side has to be less than 0. Okay, so this is not a possible answer. So let's take a look at the negative side and see if the negative side works. So if z is a value that's less than 0, we'd have z plus 6 over z. Okay, if it's negative, that means the symbol is going to be flipped, so greater than 0. We're going to multiply both sides by z, so these z's will cancel. So we have z plus 6 is greater than 0, because 0 times z is still 0. So z would have to be greater than negative 6. Okay, so this does work. So if we have a value that's greater than negative 6, but less than 0, and we plug any value between those two into our original inequality, that would make it less than on the left-hand side. So if we write this as a compound inequality, that means that our z is going to be in the middle. Okay, since z is going to be between negative 6 and 0, so z is all real numbers between negative 6 and 0, I'm going to have negative 6 is less than z. Notice it points the same direction, so the point faces towards the negative 6. I also established that z must be less than 0 if it's a negative number. So less than 0. So my compound inequality would be negative 6 is less than z, which is less than 0. So all the possible values that we could plug into this inequality would be all real numbers between negative 6 and 0, not including negative 6 or 0.